So I also say that we take a second call from another theist who claims that a civilization can't exist without a set of religious rules. Chad, welcome to Talk Heathen.
Hey, Chad.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Chad.
I'm doing splendid. Little bit bloated, if I'm honest, but otherwise doing okay.
Okay. I'm just going to get right into my argument. I know that color caller was pretty frustrating. Well, basically, my argument for the existence of a God, a creator, is that human beings, in general, and I'm talking about civilization and people, cannot coexist, cannot work with each other, cannot behave rationally to each other without the justification of order. Like, let's say you had kids. You have kids, right? You gentlemen have kids?
Not that I know of.
Okay, well,
I do, and I think they're mine.
Kids.
Yeah.
You gentlemen had kids, and you could rationally see the justification for parents having to discipline their children, right? The rest, we don't like to discipline our children too harsh, but we like to discipline them and let them know that stuff is bad. We condemn bad behavior, basically. If you aren't condemning bad behavior, how exactly are you justifying that certain stuff is wrong?
Okay, well, since I have children, do you have children, by the way?
I do not.
Okay. Oh, so I'm the only one in the Trinity on this call who has children, so I can speak with authority, and you all have to listen to me.
I've always wanted to be part of a Trinity.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is quite the turnaround from how we began the show. Anyway, so yeah, I have children, and I do need to discipline my children. But here's what I don't do. I don't say to my child, because you are in this universe due to my procreative powers, because it was my sperm and your mother's egg that brought you into existence, I don't insist on running your life. And I don't insist on you praising me to your dying breath and doing everything that I tell you to do. That's what religions do. That's the difference. And when I give discipline to my... Whoa, you hang on. Whoa, hold on a minute there, Chad. You have thrown an analogy in there regarding parenting, and apparently you're not interested in listening to what a parent has to say about your analogy. That's a bit disconcerting, Chad. So when I'm disciplining,
I'm sorry, I muted him. Chad, I'm just gonna, if you'll sit back and let Lloyd finish his analogy. I will unmute you, which I've just done. Okay, let him finish.
That's the weird thing is it's Chad's analogy, but he's speaking about something that I can speak with authority on because I'm a parent, and he isn't. So when I'm disciplining my child, I'm doing so with logic and reason. I'm not saying, you need to pray to an invisible deity. You need to go to school and tell your teacher that they're wrong about evolution. You need to hate gay people, which are all things that various religions do, by the way. When I discipline my child, it's purely about their safety and their well-being and making sure that they develop and grow into a caring, ethical, kind person that people will want to hang around with, who isn't a jerk. That's what my discipline is aimed at. And it isn't predicated on some assumption that they have to follow my rule and lavish me with praise until their dying breath, which is what most forms of religion require. Now, you're speaking about, can societies run without religion? I strongly disagree, but I think you're off to a very, very bad start with this particular analogy based on my personal experience.
I'd like to hear a little more, Chad. With that as a sort of a framework, please continue.
Okay, well, you said a lot there. Basically, with the argument you presented, you kind of went off topic a little bit. I mean, I am speaking from a religious perspective, but then you started saying that I was a homophobe and that I hate gay people.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't say that.
Whoa, Chad.
No,
this conversation is going to go nowhere if you put words in my mouth. I'm going to dignify you by not putting words in your mouth. Please do the same thing with me and Johnny. Please.
Gents, can I intervene? And I will. I've just done it. A lot of times, Chad, when people, I'm sorry I'm saying your name a lot. That's kind of creepy. I'm not going to say your name for a while. But a lot of times when people receive criticism for religious beliefs, they feel like it's a criticism of them. What Lloyd was saying is that a lot of religions, a lot of religious traditions have very hostile, harmful, hateful attitudes toward certain groups of people. Lloyd never said that you did. And if you felt that he said that you did, rewind the video and watch it and see that he didn't. But please, continue.
Okay, well, the point I was basically making about disciplining your children is that you cannot allow your child. I know you obviously cannot do horrible things to them to punish them. You have to. There's a line. There's a limit. I'm not going to completely defend the Bible 100% on this. Obviously, I know that's not a good path to go down. I'm saying that you need some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You need some kind of a respect and symbolism from your children. You cannot just allow them to, basically because I'm a free agent, I can do whatever I want. Like that's obviously an unproductive route to go into society. That's obviously why so many other countries are, plummeting.
Chad,
sorry, is there a point? I need you to make a point. You've just said a few things and you haven't made any point with it.
Well, I think I made my point very clear there. I just don't know why we're going to the.
So you're making this statement. You need respect from your children. What's that got to do with religion being needed in order for society to function?
You're making an analogy between the respect that a child must have for a parent's rules and the respect that humans must have.
Or a God. That's where I'm getting at. For a guardian or a God. An authority figure, because you cannot have a civilization without some kind of authority figure. I do not believe that human beings can just create their own authority.
Oh, okay. So that's in line with what our caller notes say, which is a civilization can't exist without a set of religious rules. That's a nice claim. I know you said you don't believe that people can do it without an authority figure. I don't accept that as true. We live in a society in the United States and in Europe and in Asia and South America and Africa and all these other places where the people have agreed upon a set of acceptable and unacceptable behaviors with consequences for people who decide to act in one way versus another. Those rules oftentimes are modified by the consensus of a majority of the people in those societies or through their representatives. Like, for example, marijuana is an unacceptable, using marijuana is an unacceptable activity, and therefore it is punishable by fine and or incarceration. And then those people get together and they decide, hey, this isn't the kind of society that we want to have. It isn't very effective in preventing the kind of outcomes that we have. So we're going to legalize it and try to regulate it and try to tax it and do that kind of stuff. So those rules change.
Yeah, but you're saying that society is basically a social contract.
It does seem to be.
We're all being alive because of a social contract we have with other people. That could only be reliant. That could only be reliant on some kind of supernatural being.
Why? Because I'll tell you why I don't smoke marijuana in front of cops is because when it's illegal, because I don't want to go to jail. I can tell you why I don't beat the living
on a primal
set of people.
Even if you don't do it in front of a cop, you're going to know, okay, I'm doing something wrong. You're going to have that feeling. You're going to have that, regardless, that is going to be a thought in your head you cannot control, that you know you are doing something wrong. You are doing something immoral.
So you attribute that feeling that I might, let's switch to marijuana, because I don't think that marijuana use is morally wrong. I think it's just been prohibited in many parts of our U.S. America. But let's talk about striking people, hitting people not because of self-defense or not because of I'm trying to protect someone else. Let's say I see someone, I don't like their face, or they say something that offends me. Why don't I go and hit that person? Well, there's probably a lot of reasons why I don't do that. One is because it's illegal and I don't want them to sue me and I don't want to go to jail or I don't want to pay a large fine. Two, if it's for no good reason, that's not, my dander isn't up because they've said something. I don't do it because I am a human being. I exist both as an individual and as a component in society. I am a social being like all other human beings. And I would suspect an instinctual desire for cooperation between me and other human beings. I have compassion. My feelings of sympathy flare up when I see starving children or sad little kids or people who are going through hard times. You would attribute that sense to a deity who is implanting me with those thoughts, with those sensations, with those feelings. I don't see the need for it because I don't know that deity exists. What I see is that like beings, entities that did not have any sense of cooperation in them, as far as evolutionarily speaking, wouldn't be able to tough out the hard times that require cooperation and sympathy and compassion, from all the way down from lower order animals that need to cooperate to function, all the way to higher order animals. So I don't see it.
Yeah, but animals don't function on that basis. And you know why? You know why? Because
I don't think that's true.
There's no.
I don't think that's true.
There's a third reason why we don't randomly punch each other, and that's because unless you are a sociopath or Floyd Mayweather, you don't want to live in a society where people can just randomly punch each other, because that's not a fun society to live in. So it turns out that though we were raised to think that you cannot function, though we were raised to think that you cannot live in a society where unless there are religious rules, unless there is some kind of religious authority dictating things, it turns out that humans have plenty of reasons to not be shitty to each other, even if you take God out of the equation. And by the way, you mention a supernatural entity that gets to be the overlord. Who is the overlord? Which supernatural entity are you advocating for? Are we talking Allah? Are we talking Krishna? Is there a specific supernatural deity that you're appealing to that I've maybe not listed?
Oh, no, it's very much the same. So basically what you are saying, you've gone to social contract several times. So basically, let's say this. Let's take this analogy. I know think people have done it before.
Chad, he asked you a question. Lloyd asked you a question.
Yeah.
Let's answer that first. Which God? Which deity? Chad, slow down. I'm going to mute you right now, Chad. I'm not muting you because I'm trying to dominate the conversation. I'm muting you because I'm trying to make sure that we have a conversation, all right? And I know you have a lot to say, and you're talking fast, and I appreciate that energy. I really do. But let's...
And by the way, before you're unmuted, before Johnny unmutes you, let's get some context on this, shall we? And let's think about what's happening in Afghanistan at the moment.
Yeah.
Where a regime is about to take control of an entire country, a regime that will dictate what people can do, to the extent of telling women that they can't have an education, to the extent of executing people because they don't support the regime or because they're gay or whatever. This is an example of a country that is run by supernatural dictates, by supernatural rules, or rules that supposedly come from a supernatural deity. Presumably that's not what you're advocating for.
Yeah.
So exactly which supernatural entity are you advocating for is my question.
Yes, you're off mute, Chet.
I said Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian, sir.
Oh, there we go. So that's the bias. There's the bias straight away. It's nothing about a higher, elevated philosophical conversation about the merits of religious values over secular values. It's purely you wanting to push your religion on everyone else. That's all that's about.
So basically, let's say somebody was in a coma. They were in a hospital bed. I could sneak in there and rape them if I wanted to, and as long as nobody ever found out, as long as they weren't harmed, no harm's been done, right?
No. Harm has been done.
No harm has been done. No harm's been done. So nothing. The person didn't know they were being raped. So no harm's been done, right?
Of course, harm's been done. What are you talking about,
Chad? I assume
You are
you're
basing
joking
that
right now. I assume you're being snarky right now. Are you being snarky right now?
No.
Okay.
No, I just find it a little irritating. Several of my questions have been dodged.
Is that actually what you think that atheists believe? Is that no harm has been done when a person in a coma has been raped?
I didn't say that in particular. I said you can make that argument, and it works with atheism.
It does not work with well, listen.
Oh, so we're at the point where we're being insulted now.
Well,
that's what this has descended into.
Chad, you're on the defense. You're complaining that your questions have been dodged. Let's slow this down, Chad, because you're on level 10 of you're on nitrous oxide here, and we're having a conversation here, a nice table conversation. So slow down, dude. All right. One, we live in a society where there are certain individual rights that are respected. We have set down those rules because we ourselves want those rules to be applied to ourselves, right? I don't want to be raped while I'm in a coma, all right? So I and all of the rest of the people in society, the majority of people, I'm assuming almost all people, vote for that being a crime. The invasion of a person's physical space, their personal bodily space, is considered a crime, okay? Because we don't want to take a chance that if no one knows about it, that's not the standard that we apply when we determine if something's a crime. If you can get away with it, if you don't know about it, okay? We've all recognized that rape is a punishable crime, that is a jailable offense, okay? And so it's a crime because I don't want to be raped. It's a crime because I don't want my loved ones to be raped. And I don't want to live in a world where you could get away with something like that. You don't need Jesus or Muhammad or Ahura Mazda for that to be a crime. You can have personal reasons for not wanting a society to allow that kind of behavior, right?
Absolutely, but I believe that dwells beyond personal reasoning. Like that.
Okay.
That's only
okay. Show me why. You believe that it dwells beyond personal reasoning. So you will agree that there are personal reasons for it. There's practical societal reasons for it, right? So now prove to me why there must, though, be a supernatural reason for that to be a crime. Because I think we've got enough right here.
Well, I said the point I was making was you said that, oh well, I don't want to be raped and everything. Obviously, nobody wants to be raped. That wasn't the purpose. Obviously, I'm saying that there's no I'm saying no harm has been done to this person, no individual harm, and you are basing that I don't want to cause harm to other people. Well, this is a crime that well, at the end of the day, it is fucked up. It is disgusting, and I believe anybody who does it should burn in hell. Obviously. I am saying that basically it's very hard to make a secular argument against the fact that it wouldn't cause harm to someone.
It does. I just made the argument. I don't want to be raped.
Yeah, if you don't want to be raped, you're going to enact legislation to make sure that people aren't raped, whether they're in a coma or not. So there's your secular argumentation. Are you going to carry on beating this dead horse or not? Because you've strayed down a logical alley where you're not making any headway. So where's your reason? Where's your reason for justifying that we all need to live in a society that's dictated by Christian rules, which is what you're now advocating for? Because we've narrowed it down from society needs a supernatural leader to society needs Jesus Christ to dictate things. So where's your logical reason for saying, hey, you know what? Let's ditch secular laws, let's ditch religious plurality, and let's live in a caliphate where we all have to live by Christian dogma, irrespective of whether we believe it or not. Where's your justification logically for that?
Yeah, let's have it.
It was, well, I mean, it was based on America. It was one of the best countries in the world, and based on Judeo-Christian values.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh, no. Chad.
Most
I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
It all comes out now.
Oh, Chad, you're better than that. All right. Andrew Seidel wrote a book called The Founding Myth. You should go ahead and read that. Also, what are Judeo-Christian values? Are they don't rape, don't steal, don't murder? Yes. Are those Buddhist values? Yes. Are those Zoroastrian values? Yes. Are those human values? Are those values that I have without being religious? Are those, there's that tribe in Papua New Guinea that they didn't know about religion. Was that Papua New Guinea, Lloyd? Maybe you know about that. Where they didn't have a God concept. Please forgive me if I've got the wrong geographical location, but they didn't steal or rape or murder. I know you could say that these rules were written on their heart, but there are practical reasons for not wanting to steal, rape, and murder, except in certain instances you can steal if you're starving to death. This idea of Judeo-Christian values, part of those Judeo-Christian values are things that we actively do not have, like working on Sunday. You're not supposed to do any labor on Sunday. You're supposed to honor the Lord's Day, right? You can't make graven images. You must have only one God. You can't covet things. These are just not, those are not the rules that we follow in this society. And in fact, in most societies in the world don't have those as laws.